Welcome to New Haven Communications. My name is Thomas Maynard. Today's video is going to be mainly pictures and audio. Today we will be taking a look at a single piece of artwork from the Yale Art Gallery, which I had looked at during one of the highlight tours that is given at the Yale Art Gallery by one of the art students at Yale. So let's get started.
I'd like to start with the texture of this piece. I know I said no touching, but how would it feel like running through your fingers over the surface?
Maybe a little rough, but not in a negative way. More like just as the material is kind of rough.
Something like for like a cozy rug.
Yeah.
That sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it varies depending on what strip you go, right? So it's different.
That's a very good point. So it's composed of different parts, and it seems like each part had a distinct texture and the like way of arranging. Yeah. So what do you think it's made of?
Well,
Yeah. Okay, it's like a piece of textile, but it's not like a complete sheet, but rather weaved together.
It's 3 panels, right?
3 panels. Yes, that's a great observation. So, yeah, the lines are sort of indistinct. You can see 3 sort of vertical strips. So my next question is, how do you think it was made?
woven on a loom and then sewn together.
Yeah, so it's this piece is created in Liberia, and it's actually pretty recent, in the early 20th century. The technique used in creating this piece is pretty common in like West Africa near the coast. It's a technique called country cloth. So basically, in the image, we can see they use like a loom to sort of make these very thin strips of cloth weaved together with like thin thread. And then people can feel free to combine them into something like this, in like clothing, even bed sheets, different types of textiles. But for this piece specifically, okay, for someone who has not seen the title yet, what do you think it was used for? Like a banner?
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I think if you get closer, I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but both up there and then down here at the 2 ends, it's actually not like one single piece of textile. There's like a small loop that basically allow a stick to go through. Great. Any other hypotheses aside from decoration? There. Yeah, that's also what I thought. What else could this be? Someone even told me maybe a tablecloth.
Maybe a rug.
Now, knowing that the 2 ends were looped and then sticks were supposed to go through them, do you think of like other possible uses of this piece? Please like just flip the image and then see what's on the other side. So it's a hammock, exactly. It's a hammock. It was, yeah, so when it was in like active use, people will do like 2 sticks, one down here and then one up there, and then also 2 longer sticks like going in this direction. And then most commonly 4 people will carry this over their shoulder or their head, and then someone of like significant, say like social status or rank, like a chief or like a leader of the community, will be sitting like on this piece of cloth. And then normally there will also be a sort of a canopy above to like shelter the person from like sunlight or rain. Yeah, so learning about its use when the piece was actually like actively in daily use. What do you think of its current display in a museum space like this?
Doesn't give any hint to what it was used for.
Could we think of any reasons why the curator chose to go this way?
They wanted something similar to this, where they want people to come and like maybe think about what it could be used for before looking at the title, and then once they look at it, maybe generate some thoughts on how that something like that could be the hammock.
Here, I think we're really seeing a sort of recontextualization and then sort of adaptation into a space that is alien to the piece itself. I think both are really great points, but actually there is another reason that the curators chose to do it in this way specifically. A little hint, following what we did just now with the last piece, maybe look around a little bit and then see if you discover anything interesting. almost exact same piece as hanging there in the painting. And in fact, they are the exact same pieces. So these three objects, like over here, they actually came to the gallery together. They were like acquired as a bundle together. And then we know that the painting was created by an African American woman called Monet Harrison Fowler. She was during like the early 20th century, and then she was especially known for her work in music and education. She was part of a larger movement called the Harlem Renaissance, which was an artistic movement that's sort of centered around the Harlem neighborhood in New York, and it's sort of like a flourishing of African American art and culture. And this movement like really influenced a lot of like, African American art even up to today. And back then, Monet Harrison Fowler was also like a member of the movement, and then she was responsible for creating a school called the Mwalimu School in New York, which basically aimed at teaching the younger generation of African Americans of their cultural heritage, and then hopefully, especially for like younger aspiring artists, to draw from that tradition and legacy to continue creating something of their own. And from the sources we know, this piece used to hang in the gallery of the Mwalimu School. And then for this painting specifically, Monet Harrison Fowler created it for her daughter, who was the first African American woman to earn a PhD in cultural anthropology. So it's a very proud image for the mom to like paint her daughter like that. But basically, yeah. The simple reason why the curator put the piece like that is although it doesn't no longer reflects the piece's original use, it does reflect part of its life history when it was hanged in the Mwalimu School, and like just as in the painting, where it was served as sort of a source of history and inspiration for African American artists. So after learning the sort of layered history of this piece, do we have like additional thoughts on it's hanged this way?
Interesting that she picks it as a wall hanging rather than as a hammock.
For sure. I also wonder why she chose to do that specifically, but I think definitely it feels a bit strange or alienating to transform something that's like supposed to be touched and actively used and then full of like warmth and even like worn of like human touches into something that's like a piece of art, right? Especially now hanging in the gallery. I think there's definitely something really interesting to think about. But whether it displayed it like this way or like in its original like actively in use position, I think there's always something that is lost in translation, lost in adaptation. And I think that's something hopefully all of us can keep in mind when we are visiting an art gallery and then seeing pieces, knowing that more often than not, unlike a lot of, say, maybe contemporary pieces or part of the Western tradition, where pieces are created to be displayed in museums, a lot of the works we see, not just in this gallery, but throughout the space, were not intended to be here in the first place. And I think there's something to be like learned from like knowing this fact and reflecting how it interacts with us, and then challenge or influences the way we understand both the piece and as well as the museum space. So that's pretty much the end.
For watching today's video at the Yale Art Gallery. We hope you enjoy. For more information on any of the highlight tour dates, the link for the website will be in the description. I highly recommend you take one of the tours. It's an experience you'll never get to have just by watching a video. For more videos by New Haven Communications, you can check out the Marble House Tour, Ice Cream at the Golf House Parts 1 and 2, the Vintage Radio and Communications series, episodes 1 through 4. You can check out the Small Tales podcast. I haven't posted in a while, but there are 2 episodes of that. And you can check out the various videos for No Butts Allowed, Cigarette Butt Collection Program. We'll see you next time.